let me tell you who I am, what I do, and my name is Robbie. I do voiceover full-time for a living in Los Angeles. So if you know something's dubbed in Texas, I probably wasn't in it. So I started about 8 years ago, and I've been doing this full-time for about 5. Sailor Moon was my first anime, and since then in the last 2 years I've gotten to do a bunch of anime, which is exciting for me because it's fun, because I grew up enjoying it, and now I get to be a part of it. I also do cartoons. I work with Nickelodeon and Cartoon Network and Disney, and I've done cartoon feature films as well. Is that Alenka?
Robbie Daymond?
Yeah, that's me. Yes. Holy smokes, look at that thing! Wow, that's a big old god eater, dude.
Yeah.
So what he's cosplaying, are you Lenka?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he's sir. You're in the wrong panel, dude. No, I'm kidding, you're in the right panel, I'm just saying. He's like, no, I carried this all the way across the hall. That is the first god eater I've seen, man.
At this convention?
No, period.
Oh,
yeah, it's the first one I've seen. I saw a Soma, but you're the first Link I've seen. That's definitely the biggest one I've ever seen. Super cool. Super cool. So we're just gonna hang out and talk. You can set that down if you want. He's just gonna like hold it the whole time. Basically, you guys can ask me anything you want about that stuff. I won't be offended if you pull up your phones and look at stuff that I've done. If you get confused or if you don't know if I've been in something or not, that's a really easy way to do it. IMDb, behind the voice actors, all of that stuff. And right now I'm in One Punch Man on Toonami. I'm playing Moomin Rider. My episodes will debut pretty soon. And I'm also on Gundam. If you're a Gundam fan, Iron Blooded Orphans, that's on Toonami too. So out of all those Toonamis, I guess I'm in 2 out of the 4 or 6 of them. And that's that. So I'm here to answer your questions, because this is a Q&A. And if you have questions to ask, you can raise your hands. I'm still just bewildered by the giant sword over here. How tall is that thing?
It's about a little over 7 foot.
A little over 7 feet tall. Yeah, that's huge. What's it made out of?
Sintra, PVC.
It's
It's kind of plastic.
It's a PVC foam.
Yeah, PVC.
Oh, interesting. Really cool. Is it BPA free? Can I drink out of it? I'm kidding. I don't know. I'm not going to drink out of yours down either. That's cool. That'd be too weird. So who's got a question? Right there. Oh, bye.
Do you have any favorite roles that you've done over the years?
Yeah, I mean, whenever somebody asks me that, it's like, I always say it's like picking between your children. Like, who's your favorite? They're all different. In the anime world, I change my answer every time. I really enjoyed doing Lenka recently. That's got to be one of my favorites that I've done recently. It's sort of my first real sort of shonen character. He's a little bit deeper, but he's still, 15-year-old hero. A little bit more serious than like a Naruto or a Shaman King. But we had a ton of fun with that. We're still working on it. So I guess I'll go back in for the next one pretty soon. But yeah, it's a ton. Come in. It's like a ton of screaming. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's 5 years old now, the property. And it's these, gosh, I guess it would be even before Attack on Titan? I don't know. The anime, I think. It's hard to say. But anyway, humanity's basically like circled up in a big wall. Yeah, do it. That's a weird. Hello? She'll call you back. You okay? Bye-bye, call you back. Love you, bye. I'm just kidding. If your phone rings, I really don't care. So that's a big one right now. I'm really enjoying that. Is it my favorite? I don't know yet. Wait until the end of the series, and we'll see if I still have a voice. And if I still, because it literally, I did 6 episodes, and I had like 700 and something cues, and the next character below me for that 7 episodes had like 200 cues. So it's a lot of talking in that one for what I'm doing, and for my character, every other line is like, ah! It's just madness, just a lot of screaming, but I'm still having a lot of fun, because I've always wanted to do one of those bloody action shows, and I've never really gotten a chance to as a main character before. So I'm super stoked about that. Favorite all time? I don't know. I don't know. That's a tough one. I guess I really like doing Sway Sway from Breadwinners, I suppose. is a cartoon that I do on Nickelodeon, and it's a goofy, silly show. I get to sing in it. I get to make a ton of fart jokes, which is great because I'm a child, and I love that kind of stuff. And but it's also just like a really goofy, fun show with a lot of hearts. You guys, I'm working on something right now. It is not an anime, it is not a video game, it is a cartoon, and it is by far the biggest thing in my career, and I am so excited about it. And that is the favorite thing that I've ever done, and I cannot tell you what it is. And I wish and it's not like one of those little NDAs, like oh, well, he let something slip and maybe it's okay. Like, I think I get murdered. I think the contract I signed, like they hunt me down and kill me. But it's super exciting, and I hope maybe we can stay in touch, like online or something like that. Like if you guys do Twitter or Facebook, I'm really good at like communicating that way. I always tell people in my panels, like, yeah, hit me up online. We'll talk, we'll do stuff. So that's definitely the favorite thing I'm working on. I wish I could tell you, but it is a recognizable, well-known character, and it's the title character, and that's all I can tell you. But I'm super excited about it, and it's not an anime.
I'll prelay then.
What?
I'll prelay.
I didn't say that. I just said it's not an anime. No more questions. No more questions. Wait, hold on a second. No, panel's over. But that's a good question. It's hard to pick a favorite. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, can you talk about the duck hunt?
Oh, the duck hunt video?
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. It's one of the very first things I ever did. It's a short film called Ducks Playing Duck Hunt. And he showed it to me yesterday at the panel, and I hadn't seen it. Was anybody at yesterday's panel besides you were? Yes, you guys were. I know you guys were. Yeah, he showed it to me. I hadn't seen it in like 5 years, and it had 1 million views on YouTube. And I was like, how does this cartoon have 1 million views on YouTube? It's ridiculous. But no, I did that in my living room with my buddy Vernon Dew, and we played 2 ducks from the Bronx who were just sitting around in their crappy apartment playing duck hunt, sort of like philosophizing about how weird it is that they're shooting ducks in this video game. And the funny part about that was it spawned this entire like YouTube argument about like, what's the big deal about that? Humans play Call of Duty all the time. And then it got to like a serious conversation. I was like, you guys, it is a 1-minute joke. How is it possible that the YouTube comment panels are just blown? I'm like, you're a dork, I hate you forever! And I'm like, you guys, this is a cartoon about ducks. YouTube's weird, you guys. It is a weird place.
I like in the end when they say, we like to do, shoot the...
Oh, shoot the dog instead, and then the dog pops up.
Yeah, and they, what the...
And they shoot,
shoot both of them.
It's a cute little bit. It's a cute bit. If you want to lose faith in humanity, you just need to spend about a half an hour in the YouTube's comment section, and then you can just kind of just give up on everything. But yeah, dude, that's funny. I like that you like that. Thank you for bringing that up. You do, when you're earlier in your career, you'll pretty much do anything to get someone to animate you. So I was looking for any independent animator that would do anything, and I'm glad I got a chance to do that one. Yeah.
And now they know you as a duck now.
As a duck, yeah, we talked about that before. I play a lot of ducks. That's just bad luck, I guess. I wish it was something awesome, like I was always a wolf. But no, just a duck. Do you guys know, did we discuss whether this is 18 or over or not? Are you 18? You're not 18, are you? You are? Maybe, I can't tell. Well, I'm nearsighted. Do you guys know about ducks' mating habits? Do you guys want to hear about ducks' mating habits? Sure. Okay, we're gonna get weird, you guys. Because this is my panel, and we're gonna get weird. So, male ducks, only if you want to hear about duck penises should you come in this room. And he's in! Sold! So, the male ducks have their male reproductive organ grows directly in proportion to the number of competitive males that they have in the pond. That's just true. So the more they have to compete, the bigger it is. And it also falls off every season and regrows. The guys in the front just went, whoa! Yeah, it falls off and regrows every season. They also have it also explodes out because the girl duck, and it's a corkscrew. And the girl duck has a reverse corkscrew so that she can have more power in the relationship. And that is the story of how ducks mate. So next time you watch that cartoon, I want you to think about that. No, don't think about that. It'll just ruin cartoon ducks for you forever. Somebody showed me that. They're like, dude, you play a lot of ducks. Do you know about how ducks do the thing? And I was like, no, what's so weird about it? And I was like, oh, that's really weird. It's super weird. And we lost one. She's on her phone. She's like, he's talking about duck genitals. I gotta get out of here. No, come back. Okay, all right. That was still pretty PG-13, right? We all watch Nature Channel. All right, next question. What was the original question? Oh, it was about a cartoon. Sorry about that. Who's got one for me? Yes.
What's your favorite part about playing Tuxedo Mask?
How did I know that you would ask me that question? That's so weird. She's casual Sailor Moon. Her costume's on point, but she just decided to let her hair down today. No buns. My favorite part about Sailor Moon, honestly, was learning how to voice anime. For those of you who don't know, we're doing all 200 of the original, and then Sailor Moon Crystal. So that's what we're working on, and it's my first anime. And my favorite part about it was learning about the world, because I knew about Sailor Moon, but it had been a long time, because it's been out for what, 25 years, something like that? So when I first went into the studio, I was really lucky because there were all these creative people that were really, knew the show really well. So they taught me how to voice anime. And even though I've been doing voiceover for a long time, I'd never had the experience of walking into the studio, seeing the picture, matching the flaps, all of that shenanigans. And that was great. And then I fell in love with the characters because they're so cool. The thing that's cool about Sailor Moon is that it's like really the first female like superhero team that kind of our generation had to look to. Sure, there's other stuff going on in like Marvel and DC, but like as far as a Saturday morning cartoon goes, that's why it was so popular when they brought the anime over to the West. Also part of the reason why they Americanized it and made it a little bit more kiddie. They cut out some of the dirtier parts. I think there's a few parts where people's skirts fly up and things that might be more comfortable as an anime in Japanese. They also changed what they changed. They changed a male character into a female character. Did you know that? There's a male-male relationship in the Dark Kingdom, and they actually voiced it as a girl. They took the long-haired male character and made it female. And then they took the two female characters and they made them, anybody know?
Cousins.
And cousins. And cut out the romance stuff. So the really cool part about what we're doing is that it's uncut as it's meant to be seen. And it makes the show better. So I would say my favorite part is learning about the world and then also learning how to voice anime. Yeah, you can ask a follow-up.
Was that Uranus and Neptune? Sailor Uranus?
Yes. Uranus and Neptune. Haruka and... What was it? Michiru. That's it. Thank you very much. At Anime Expo, they debuted their episode, their sort of like flashback episode where how they met, where she's like riding a motorcycle. She's like, all I want to do is be a ring. It was so good. I really liked that episode. I didn't know they were going to play it, and so they were like, we're going to play an episode now, and the cast is going to watch with you. And I was like, oh no, because it's like what I do for a living, and I like sitting on stage in front of people watching episodes was a little weird, and I just caught myself just like getting transported, taken away. It's such a good episode. That's a great arc. Yeah. So they are lady lovers. They're romantic lady lovers. We kept it real the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. She's like, I didn't know that. I thought they were cousins. Yeah. One more. Yeah, let's do it.
I'm sorry.
No.
Okay.
You're dressed as Sailor Moon. You can ask all the Sailor Moon questions.
Oh my goodness. Oh crap! I forgot. No, don't do it.
I'm just kidding. You're fine.
Never mind.
Okay, you'll think of it. Who else has a question? Put them up. Yeah.
Voicing Eighth Brother in Rebels.
Oh.
How did that come about, and how was that? And what do you think about how long the character lasted?
Oh man, I knew it. For those of you who don't know, I did a show, Star Wars Rebels. I was in the season finale of last season, the 1 hour special, which they do a bunch of cool stuff. For those of you who haven't seen it, there's tons of spoilable stuff, so I'll save it. But I played one of the Inquisitors, a new Inquisitor, who was hunting, who I like to think must have been a baddie if they sent him by himself to hunt who they thought he was hunting. You know what I mean? For those of you who don't know, that it ends up being revealed it was a very serious Star Wars bad guy. And I was like, well, yeah, that guy must be kind of a badass if he's after that dude by himself. So that came about from my agency, just a cold audition. I'd worked with the casting director, Lindsay, before. We did a Lucasfilms movie called Strange Magic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. It's Strange Magic is a great movie. You all should go buy it on Blu-ray and DVD. It's cute. I went to see it with a bunch of, it was funny. It was in theater for about 2 weeks. But the night that I saw it, there was actually some people there. There were some kids and all of that stuff, and it was nice. And the kids that were watching it were kind of bouncing in their seats. It has problems as a movie, but that's not my job. My job is just to go in there and do it the best I could. So I worked with her on that and had a good relationship, and she's a really nice lady. And for that movie, they did performance capture. They had cameras set up. I didn't have the stuff on my face. They just took video and used it for reference. And if you go look up that character, it's actually 3 characters. I played triplets, and it's really weird because he kind of looks like me, and it's like disturbing to see an animated character flying around singing and acting, and it looks like you and it makes the same facial expressions as you. That's kind of a trippy experience. But I sent him my audition. I don't know if she remembered me from that movie. I think she did. And when I sent it in, I was like, oh cool, I got this part. Why did I get this part? And then I think it's the way I said Jedi. I think that was, and I did it Emperor Palpatine style, where I just went, Jedi. You just hold the I out a little bit longer, and I was like, and use a nondescript, slightly British accent.
Yes.
They were into it, so I got hired. If you'll notice, all of the Empire are pretty much, and a lot of the Sith are pretty like British, like usually all the Americans.
It's the most evil accent.
Yeah, of course. It like Luke's like, I'm from Ohio, but all the that's exactly what it is. Luke Skywalker's from Ohio, and the Emperor is the big elitist bad empire. But so
Everyone
yeah,
except for Darth Vader.
except for Darth Vader, yeah, he just
sounds robot.
he's a robot. He's a robot.
He's James. He just sounds like Mufasa.
He does. Well, yes, he is. And so I went in for that, and I did 2 sessions on it, one for each half an hour of the hour special. And yes, there he is, man. Nice. And we came in and did that, and it was really cool because I got to meet Dave Filoni, who is the director he also directed Clone Wars. And that guy knows everything about Star Wars. He's like an encyclopedia. It was awesome. So I ride a motorcycle, and I came in and I have my motorcycle helmet, and it's like a fighter pilot helmet. It's got like a black it's like a mirror black mask, and I bring it in. He's like, that looks like one of the Death Star droids. And I was like, what? And he's like, in New Hope, they go on the Death Star before she gets tortured. He's like, here, I'll show you. He brings it out. He's like, basically, it's a C-3PO body that's black, and they've got this weird sort of, and he pulls it up, and it does. It looks just like my motorcycle. And I was like, this guy is a machine. I mean, he knows everything about the lore. So even for a character that I knew was going to kick the bucket, because I got the script, and again, that was an NDA where they told me they would kill me. When I got the script, and it's also watermarked. Every page has your name on it, so if it leaks, they know exactly that you're the person that they need to kill. Yeah, that's a little secret. Yeah, it keeps us in check. So it's like you can't go, hey, my friend from 2nd grade, check out this script, and then they'll know it's my name on it. And he directed me. He treated that character with such care. He told me what kind of race he was, and like gave me backstory and what I was there to do, and directed me pretty heavily. And then I realized, it's Star Wars. They handle everything with care. And then I just got to cross that one off the old bucket list, which was originally a canon Star Wars character. Because I don't know if you know, they took all of Expanded Universe and scrapped it. So the only thing that's canon now is Rebels, Clone Wars, and the films. So yeah, it's crazy. And and the game, Battlefront is canon.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
I thought that was a pretty in-depth answer, you guys. Did you think of your question?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Finally.
Yeah.
So you said that Sailor Moon was your first anime thing that anime related thing you did. Was that your first role ever, or was that?
No.
Oh.
No. I've been doing voiceover for about, let's see, that was 2014, about 5 years at that point, about three or 4 years full time.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'd done, I don't know, 100 other roles, but I'd never gotten a chance to audition for anime. And I wanted to.
Sailor Moon was your first anime related thing.
First anime that I auditioned, well, series. I did Stephanie Sheh, who's, I did, comma, do you know Stephanie Sheh? I did a film for her 2 weeks before. That was my first anime that I'd ever did. It was called Patima Inverted. It's a really cute movie. And we were both there, and she asked me, she's like, I heard you got an anime audition. And I was like, I heard you did too. Have you heard anything about it yet? No, I don't know. And we both kind of tiptoed around it, and then 2 weeks later, I saw her in the studio, and there she was. I said, who are you? Sailor Moon. There we go. She's the first person I ever acted with in LA too. Sailor Moon, Stephanie. We did I acted with in voiceover. We did a pilot for Warner Brothers, a prelay traditional cartoon, and we played the two little bunnies who were in love. How fitting is that? And then 6 years later, there we go. I got my own little bunny. So she's been a good friend to me for a long time. She's awesome. But yeah, my very first anime. What a good one, right?
Yeah.
Could have been worse. Yeah, and then I realized it got me nothing, and I had to go do all of go do Walla and small sub characters and work my way up the ladder. I was like, I'm Tuxedo Mask, everyone's gonna hire me now. And it doesn't work that way. No, not at all. I still had to go pay my dues in the anime world, even though I've been paying my dues everywhere else. But now I get to do some other leads. Like, thank God. Movement back there, you're stone cold, bro.
Me?
I love it.
Listen, man, I love to listen. I, as an aspiring, or I guess almost aspiring voice actor,
Yeah.
it's cool to hear, stories and tales
You
of.
don't even have to say almost aspiring, because the nature of aspiring is you can be any level of aspiring. That's awesome. Yeah, I gotta do a picture with the two of you when we're done. I mean, I've got a link over here. Yeah, it's clutch. Yeah, other questions? Let's do it. Yeah, of course.
So going back to almost aspiring, I have little to no experience with it, but it's something that I've always wanted to do. I was a big theater kid, and the thought of voicing a character while not having my face shown has always been like a really cool concept to me.
Sure.
But I have no idea where to start. Do you have any advice or tips or pointers on just where to go or what to do?
Sure, this is a classic question, and I have a really good answer for it. I'm just kidding. Where are you from?
I'm from Cocoa Beach. I'm on the other side of the state.
On the other side of the state. So you're in Florida. What's the closest big city to you? Big city.
Big city? Like, honestly, Orlando.
Orlando, how far?
It's about an hour away.
How many people live in Coconut Grove?
Cocoa Beach?
I'm just kidding. I don't know where Coconut Beach is. It sounds beautiful. Are there really coconuts there?
No.
What a terrible name. It's not Coconut Beach. Get it together.
It's like old people.
It's old people.
It's south of Cape Canaveral,
Off of Cape Canaveral. Oh, Cape Canaveral. Okay, now I got you. Well, here are a couple things. Every town you have, no matter how big or small, is going to have some place for you to go to take an acting class, but maybe not a voice class. So I would say the first thing you need to do, even if you were a theater kid, is to go brush up. How long has it been since you've done a play or anything like that? A while?
Well, I've taken a few acting and film classes in college pretty recently, actually.
Oh, well then you're on the right track. The next step to be would be to go try to get some specific voiceover training. So that's going to require a little bit of Google research, find out who's the best in your hood. Don't get scammed. Don't go to somebody that charges $1 bajillion an hour. Go to somebody who says they're going to make you a $3,000 demo and then make you a star. You can get a good demo for a couple grand. If you're in LA, it's going to cost you $3,000, but that's okay. You're paying for someone who's really quality, and I can tell you who to go to. But the thing about it is you need to get a little bit of training in that world. And that's the first step I always say. It's like, go do some training. And even if you think you're the best in the world or the worst in the world, go do some training and get an outside perspective from someone that you trust. See if you get a vibe that they're trying to get all your money, and if they are, run away. But if you get a vibe and you're paying them for something, and you think they're giving you honest, good feedback, then that's worth it. You get coached just like you would get coached if you wanted to go try and be a professional athlete. You would want a batting coach. You would want all of those sort of things. So then go get some coaching. Then, once you feel like your skills are where they're supposed to be, then you can start looking for work. And in order to look for work, you gotta have the tools. And the tools in our business, if you're an actor, you need a headshot. If you're a voiceover actor, you need a reel. So then you gotta go do research and find a person to do a really good reel for you. And then once you get your reel done, then there's a bunch of stuff you can do, and you still haven't even left Florida yet. You can sign up for voices.com. You can sign up for Voice 123, and it costs you a couple $100 a year, but you'll get auditions, and you'll be able to do those auditions from home. Now, you start doing your auditions with your cheap microphone. Then, you book your first audition. Guess what? Time to buy a better microphone. And you can still do stuff from home from your closet. So then you get your good microphone, you learn how to use Pro Tools, you learn how to use GarageBand, you send that, and you start making your money back. Now once you start making your money back, you can keep doing that for a while, keep getting better, keep cutting your teeth until you reach a point where you can't go any further in Florida. And here's the bummer, now you gotta move.
It's not a bummer.
It's the stone cold truth. Right. But there's a reason why I'm telling you, all of you in this order, is because once you can no longer go any further local, you gotta go where the work is. And the work is in Los Angeles and some in New York. And maybe some in Canada, Vancouver, but you don't want to renounce your citizenship or anything. You might be able to go to Chicago and make a living. You might be able to go to some places of Ohio and make a living because there's a big Midwestern market. But if you're gonna want to do characters or Texas, you could go down and try to break into funny. But that's like moving across the country to try and break into Fort Knox. You know what I mean? So there are a lot of people like, I want to do voiceover. I want to move to LA. And I go, no. What have you done in Peoria yet? Because that's the really answer. Have you gotten everything you can out of local stuff and what you can do online? And I know it sounds like a lot, but it is a lot. I'm not saying like don't chase your dreams. Do chase your dreams. Just be smart about it. Because if you want to go to LA and New York, if you're not ready, well, eat you up. And if you haven't been doing stuff with honest people, getting honest feedback, and you go there thinking you've got X amount of skills, maybe you don't, then it's gonna eat you up. But if you're ready, and you got the skills, and you got the passion, and you're ready to do a crappy side job for a couple of years before you get your first big break, go get it. Go get out there. Move where the work is. But you're gonna have to move where the work is someday. But there's a ton of steps you can take on the way. All the way from doing a local play, if you've never had any acting experience, or for someone like you, time to take it to the next level and get a voice acting coach. And they're out there in the world. Because a lot of people retire from the business and then they go into coaching. And those are valid people to get lessons from. But just make sure you do your research, and if anybody on their online thing says, this is a scam, then maybe you'll listen to it, But if you're smart, you can make it happen, for sure. But it's hard. There's a lot of people every day trying to do it. It's tough, but you can do it, right? That's like honest positivity. And you're welcome. I hope that's a good answer. Yes.
Just to add to the whole voiceover thing, because I've been trying to break into it for about 7 years. Down in South Florida, I originally had a demo. Never really went anywhere. Took some acting classes, like improv and stuff.
What'd you do with the demo?
Well, I tried to shop it around, but I wasn't really getting anywhere. Kind of was like, all right, I need to start trying to find a real job. And then eventually, my dad met a guy who was in voiceover for like 25 plus years, and was like, hey, you need to talk to him.
Who was it? Can you tell me? Are you comfortable telling me who it was?
I don't want people bombarding him with stuff.
Okay, got it.
But anyway, he's local around here.
Sure.
He did mostly. He does like radio promos and all that kind of stuff. That's sort of his big booming announcer. That's kind of like his area.
Keep going. I'm listening.
So he basically, sort of taught me how to get, how to be consistent in sending things out. We found a lot of places like all over the country, sent my new demos because I cut better demos eventually. And just recently started getting jobs a little bit consistently, but not really. It's sort of very hit or miss, but it's just a matter of building it up.
Do you have an agent?
I do not currently, no.
You gotta get an agent.
Yeah.
See who your local agent is. Even if they're the great part about this now is the submitting is, sir, if you want. Missed it. You guys, this is Max Mittelman. He's gonna crash my panel. We planned this.
Moonrider cosplay.
I know. There's no One Punch Man though. Wah wah.
He's wearing an Opie shirt.
Oh, there it
Deal
is.
with it.
Yeah. Look, he's got. Look at his God Eater. Look at the size of that thing. I know, it's huge. Dude, the thing about it is that are you using voices.com?
I have. What is that one site? I have.
Voice 123?
I have my voice thing on a site somewhere. It's like, here's the voiceover project you didn't get, and it's like, okay, like I don't even know what site it is.
Well, voices.com and Voice 123 are a great place to cut your teeth. And if you've already got a demo and you're already booking a little bit of local work, then I would say you're probably ready for it. There's probably a lot. I don't know your work, but I would say that there's probably people a lot less prepared than you who hop on that site. And if you have a decent little home setup, now you can get a really good USB mic for like $100-$200, all that stuff. I mean, it's doable, and you sit in your closet and make sure you're in a good sound, and you do it.
I've got a decent setup as far as that
Well,
goes, but nothing.
save your nickels, like work your bar job, your retail job, whatever you got to do, and buy that Voice 123 subscription. It's $400 for the year. It sucks, but you're gonna make it back. And then if you don't, then you need to go, oh man, I couldn't even make back my Voice 123 money.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to think about something else. That's not a litmus test. I'm just saying that might just be bad luck that you don't book something off of there, but you probably should be. Then you might know that you might be not ready for it, and you should take a couple steps back and get some more training or whatever. But that's just what I sort of think. And voices.com is good too. Yeah. And those are things you can do from home. Yeah. Absolutely. You don't have to rely on an agent to get you work for, and you can just kind of submit. Yeah. You won't get a lot right off the bat, right?
No.
Jump in here. You came in here.
No, hey.
You can turn it up. Oh, it's better.
No, that was yours.
No, that was better.
Check.
Okay, use mine and I'm gonna fix it. I know how to fix it. I saw the thing.
Oh.
Answer this question.
Yeah. So, we both used that. You know, we've both been on those sites and done the whole thing. Trying to think of some good advice. The one thing about those sites is like you have to be one of the earliest ones to submit, at least for like voices.com, or else producers tend not to listen to your stuff because they'll listen to the first 15 people who submit and go, it's one of them. So that's the catch. There's still people who listen to all of them, and you could totally book if you're not one of the first 15. But it's tough because when you have a second job or a day job or something, and you want to try to break into voiceover and do that at the same time, it's tough to get it going because I feel like you have to put all your attention and energy into that. I mean, at some point you do. Maybe now you don't necessarily need to, but at some point you should. And it's terrible advice. Robbie gave better advice. Listen to Robbie.
Yeah. I don't know why I asked him to crash my panel. You know who he is, right? He's the One Punch Man. He's the One Punch Man. He's Max Mittelman, the One Punch Man. So if you're watching One Punch Man, he's One Punch Man. One Punch Man?
One Punch Man.
Oh, One Punch Man.
One Punch Man.
Him and I have also done a ton.
I only
of
saw
stuff
Jap
together.
dub.
What?
I only saw Japanese dub.
You only saw Japanese? Well, that's because episode 1 just came out last week. So get on the dub train. We are in together. Help me run it down.
Here we go.
One Punch Man.
One Punch Man.
7 Deadly Sins.
7 Deadly Sins. I play King, he plays Killfender.
We are in, he just went, we are in Gundam, Iron-Blooded Orphans together.
I play Ein, he plays
Skyleo. He's my little subordinate little guy.
Yeah.
Let's see, we are also in Durarara together. We are in Aldo Zero together. He's the lead in that, I play Count Missoura. We are in
Your Line
in April. He's the lead in that, I play Saito. We are in...
I think we did it.
No,
One more?
Well, there's got to be more.
Games?
Games.
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 Oh, Stella Glow.
Stella Glow. No, he's like Stella Glow. A bunch of other stuff we're working on together right now that we also can't talk about.
I wish we could tell you guys.
That
we This isn't on at all.
We'll share. What else? A bunch of other stuff.
Huh?
What?
How'd you guys meet?
Oh.
You seem to have a good group.
Oh yeah, we're buddies in real life. Yeah. Well, I was walking down the street and this homeless guy came up to me and he's like, "Sir."
He was like, there's another homeless guy down the street. He looks more needy than me.
Ouch. Yeah. No, we met through we met on Breadwinners. Yeah, we're in Breadwinners together. That was my show. He did a character called
The Poltergeist.
It's so annoying.
He's supposed to be annoying. Basically, the episode was that the Poltergeist annoys his character the whole episode. But that's where I met Robbie. I met him at Nickelodeon, and the first time we met, it was the best time we met.
He hated me
because
literally hated me.
I hated him. I thought he was the biggest jerk ever because I stayed after my session to watch him record his lines, and at the time it was one of my first jobs, and I was like, I had a very just kidding.
In my panel?
It's gonna go up in 9 minutes. I just snoozed it. I loved watching everyone and absorbing everything, and I thought everyone was like super kind and like. I just thought everyone was supposed to be a certain way. I put them in a box, and it was just like smiles and kindness, and he walks into the booth and through the speakers, and I sit down on the couch after my session. We just met, and his first words to me, he looks at me through the glass, and in front of everyone in the room, who I really look up to, like the casting director and the engineers and stuff, he makes a dick joke straight to my face. And I'm like, that is not what you're supposed to do. This is voiceover. People act a certain way, and that's not right. So that was my first time meeting Robbie. And then for an entire year, I just thought he was the worst. And then I met him again a year later, and he didn't make any dick jokes to me, so.
Yeah. Well, we have a mutual friend, his name is Ray Chase. And if you don't know his name now, you will. He's the lead in Charlotte that's about to come out, and he's in a ton of other stuff right now. We've worked on a bunch of stuff together, and so Ray reached out to me because we were working on this project that I also can't mention quite yet. Like I said, follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and then you'll know all these stories we're telling. But he reached out to me and wanted to hang out because he knew we were opposite each other in this project. And then I found out he was buddies with Max, and through that circle, the three of us started hanging out and became buddies, and since then we just find ourselves working on all the same stuff together. So as this year goes on, we're going to be doing the con circuit a little bit together. So the three of us will be at MetroCon doing panels together, and let's see, if we come back here next year, we have a musical variety and improv show that's a late night thing that we're putting together that's going to be awesome. But yeah, that's how we met. That's how we know each other, and we hang out and work together and all that stuff.
You couldn't turn this on?
He's the One Punch Man. It's on an iPad, the thing, and I don't know the code. Do you guys know the code? Do you know the code of the iPad?
4444.
I tried 1 2 3 4 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, and it didn't work. None of the ones worked.
You're supposed to try 112.
112. It's the combination of
You tried
idiot.
1, 2, 3, 4?
I did try 1 2 3 4.
It's gonna lock me out if I do it too many times.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't lock the iPad. Yes, Moomin question.
Or just try 4 spaces. I know that's another popular one. Like
What is it?
Space bar.
4 spaces. Don't do too many. Other questions. We got about 15 minutes. Yes, oh bye.
So you mentioned like your first project in anime was
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, Sailor Moon and a movie before that. What was your first exposure to anime, like period? Not even acting, just like the first time you ever watched it.
Ninja Scroll, the movie. Do you guys know Ninja Scroll?
Yes.
No, you don't know Ninja Scroll.
don't.
You know Ninja Scroll. That was in the 90s, I think. Adult. I probably shouldn't have been watching it. I was like 13 or 14. It's not like dirty adult. I think there's some boobies in it.
Is this a hentai?
If I remember, no, it's not. Definitely not a hentai, but it is an adult anime. Yeah, it would be like if you watched an action movie and.
This is Fisting of the North Star.
Yeah. Whoa, hey, whoa. I think that goes outside of PG-13. It's definitely a little bloody, but it's sort of just an epic wandering ninja story, sort of that classic trope. And then from that, I got into Akira and movies. I didn't know that anime were series because I didn't know that Sailor Moon. Like I didn't know the animes. I didn't know the animes that had made it west in the '90s that were on Saturday morning cartoons. I didn't know they were anime. They did a really good job at hiding them. Like, I watched the Centurions on Cartoon Network. I watched a little bit of Sailor Moon. I watched these other animes. I didn't even know Power Rangers. I was too young. I didn't know that Power Rangers I didn't know that they had replaced the Japanese people with white actors and that half the footage was Japanese. I had no idea. I knew that it was different. I knew that it was, in a way, foreign, but it was just foreign to me, so...
Seeing the cityscape change when they did the actual fighting scene.
Oh, yeah, it's so obvious to adult me, but kid me had no idea. So I discovered animated films. I'm like, what are these animated films? I love them. They're so weird and violent and fun, and I feel like they're cartoons, but they're not for kids. And then I started watching, like, you guys know heavy metal? I started like watching heavy metal, and I got into kind of like the idea of cartoons for big kids. Because at that point I was too old to be watching. I was still watching afternoon cartoons. I'm at like 15, 16, but I don't know if I ever really outgrew that. But yeah, that's how I got into it. Max, how did you start watching anime?
I started, I grew up on Toonami, so whatever was playing on Toonami at the time, I was just watching that. So I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z, Full Metal Alchemist, and then whatever they were playing on Adult Swim too. So it was like Yu Yu Hakusho and Rurouni Kenshin. And I remember there was a DVD that I was in middle school, and there was a DVD getting passed around of Rurouni Kenshin, but it was like not the TV version. It was like too bloody to be a TV version.
Oh yeah.
And it was literally getting passed around school like it was drugs or like a porn magazine or something. And I never got my hands on it, and I was so angry because it kept jumping from one friend to another, and I was like, is it my turn? They're like, I haven't watched it yet, sorry. So I was so angry about that. But it was all that stuff. Anything that was on Toonami. I never really went and sought out other things myself. I just didn't know that anything else existed. I just kind of let everything, whatever was on, just let it pass over me.
Yeah, you were mentioning the adult cartoons like Ratsuki Doji or Megazone 23.
Oh boy, now you're even outside of my realm of expertise. What are those? Are those
very adult
series or
not
films?
pornographic, but they're very adult.
Right. Yeah, see, that's that weird. That's not weird. That's that sort of in between zone. It's like something.
Area,
something you can't show on Toonami, but something that doesn't fall into the world of the really where you're only watching it for one reason. You know what I mean? So it's like, those are tough. I've seen some of them, but if they're not a film, I usually don't watch them all that much. Yeah, but they're still valid pieces of art. They're just for a more specific niche of who watches them. And the people that watch them, they enjoy what they enjoy. I mean, if you're gonna watch something like, The Expendables, like, why can't you watch the version of that's, in animated form? Yeah, and I think they know that. That's who that's for. Yeah, for a more adult audience. And I'm glad it exists. Yeah.
The technology stuff, I actually asked this in the last panel. How much does a comfort and knowledge of what the audio tech can do for you benefit your day-to-day job? And then, was that part of your training? Because it sounds like you knew you wanted to get into this stuff pretty young on. So, do you take something on what the technology can do for you? Or? If you were,
we said not many people were in my first Q&A panel, but I always bring back to that Final Fantasy X was like a big watershed moment for me because it was the first fully voiced JRPG as far as I knew. Definitely the first fully voiced Final Fantasy. And the thing about it is that was a moment I had when I was like 18 when it came out, and I was like, oh man, all games are gonna be this from now on. There's gonna be so much work and this kind of stuff coming out, and that was like, here's a whole new, because I was from theater, I saw theater dying, and I was like, how am I gonna work? You know, it's like when they stopped making Law and Order. You know, it's like a bunch of actors went, oh no, that's the only job that I can get in New York.
There were actors who literally were on Law and Order as 5 separate characters.
Yeah.
Same person, 5 times.
Yeah, it was like an old joke. Like you weren't a real actor unless you were in New York, unless you were on guest starred on Law and Order.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, like that form of technology, knowing that was a big moment for me where I said, ooh, maybe there's something I can actually be in video games for a living. Because before that, I think the only thing they did is some, what was it, FMV for like, you know, Sega CD or 3DO or something, and it was all like, you know, really whack. But yeah, I shouldn't say that. I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But technology changing the job, I'll tell you what, the new thing that they're doing right now that's so crazy is the automatic lip syncing in video games, which 3D animated is a huge new thing. So it used to be someone's job to sit there and transcribe phonetically every word that came out of your mouth. Excuse me. And they had a chart, and the chart would be like, okay, it's an O, an ooh, an ah, every phonetic sound that you can make. A person sat there and scored the script and went through it, and then handed it off to a programmer, and then the programmer would go through and reanimate the mouth from one language to the other, or just animate the mouth for the first time. Well, that job doesn't really exist anymore for a lot of games, because now there's new computer software that can recognize the phonetics that we make, and all we do is say the words, and then mouth comes out, new mouth comes in, and it's the lips. That's why lip sync has been getting so much better in dubbed stuff. Now it takes a little bit of time for the programming to go through, so you might see a trailer that's not synced up right, but when you get the game, it's going to be fully synced, and that's what they're doing now. And it's not perfect, but it's really close to it, and that's changed the way we dub games for sure.
Oh no, you answered it.
Okay, good. I'm gonna let Max start the next one. And I got plenty of time. A couple more. Let's do it. Yes.
Have you guys started season 2 of 7 Deadly Sins yet? Working on it?
Are we allowed to say?
Well,
I guess that's the answer.
We haven't started. We haven't done anything. Japan. I mean, I don't. Is it? It's only been announced in Japan, right? I don't even think it's aired.
Yeah.
Season 2. So it's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
They have?
it is,
Okay.
yeah.
So season 2 is definitely happening in Japan. We don't know if it's happening yet. Fingers crossed. People seem to like it. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we're so low man on the totem. Like really, like we know everything last.
We'll get a call a few days in advance going, want to come in for season 2? You know, that's it.
That's literal. We'll get a call a few hours in advance and be like, hey, if you want to do this McDonald's commercial, you better be in Burbank in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like that's sort of our, it's like being a really unimportant doctor, you know? Definitely not saving lives, but if you want to sell those McNuggets, yeah. So we don't know jack squat. People about production stuff. We can usually tell you how much we've been allowed to tell, which is usually don't say we've recorded past a certain point. Because that's the big thing. Then the fans get anxious, and they're like, "Oh, I was just in so-and-so's panel, and they told me you guys recorded up to episode 150." And then the production company goes, "Why did you say that? We don't release that for another 9 months because they've got other stuff they got to do. They got to advertise it, and they know their timing, and they got to wait for the previous volumes to sell. And it's a business part of it. So usually we button it up about that. But the great thing about Netflix is once we're done, it's out there.
That's it.
Yeah. It's like 7 Deadly Sins came out in that same day.
We finished recording. We finished recording pickups like a couple weeks before it came out.
Wow.
The whole thing came out on Netflix. We recorded right up to the wire on that. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how it's like so instantaneous now, or it can be simulcasts.
I'm doing one right now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, airs in Japan, then airs immediately in on the web or in the US. Yeah. Yes, Moomin.
How excited are you to be able to voice the monologue between Moomin and Deep Sea King? And if you've already voiced it, how excited should I be?
You should be very excited. I was excited about that spot. I actually did. I was really. We got to time halfway through the monologue, or halfway through that scene, that episode, and I was really bummed. And I had to come back in another session and finish it. So we started later, and I was like, I don't want to do the scene yet. Can we go like jump into episode 11 or something and do some of that? And then the director was like, yeah, we can do that. So I could kind of like get in the right headspace to get there. But yeah, I mean, obviously, you know, Max's role on the show, he's got to worry about that every episode. I only have to worry about it, you know, 2 or 3 times throughout the whole series. So I just want to make sure that I did that part, that moment really well. I knew it was important to the fans. I knew it was important to the manga readers and all that stuff. So super pumped about it. I got my fingers crossed that it plays as well as we felt about it when we were recording it. So yeah, I definitely didn't walk away and go, oh man, I screwed that one up. I felt pretty good about it. And there are a lot of times I walk out and go, oh man, I screwed that one up. I don't think so this one. I think the fans are gonna be happy with it. Yeah. Pick somebody. We got 5 minutes.
5 minutes, yes.
In anime, where the characters would save the world, do you prefer the characters to be over 18 or under 18?
Oh. Under 18, so we can voice all of them.
Yeah. That's
I don't know. I think there's not value, but you can enjoy both of those. It just has, for me, it just has to have a compelling story, and the character has to have a compelling backstory. Even if it's a young character, I want something. I want substance, you know? I don't want it to just be the same thing over and over again. I don't know. Most of the time it is, right?
Yeah.
Most of the time it's
teens.
It's just teens.
Almost for the most of the time.
Yeah, I don't know. What we see, I think what our perception of it is different because we see a lot of teens. But then you think of like, I don't know, it's young people. It's young people. If it's not teens, it's young people. Yeah, what do you prefer though?
I don't know if I have an actual preference. I kind of like my stuff a little bit dark, but then one of my favorite dark animes is Death Note, and he's still in high school, right? Yeah, he's what, 17 or something like that, and then he graduates though throughout the course of the show. I think he goes adult. I don't know, it's hard to say. Do you work on Charlotte at all?
I did, but yeah.
Charlotte's a cool show because it's that exact question. I think those characters all like lose their powers at 18. And then I think that's kind of a cool convention. You should check that one out. What'd you say? Oh, wasn't about naughty stuff. I'm just kidding. I'm fine. Charlotte's a really cool show. You should check it out. I like them as adults. I think.
I was gonna say I like darker shows.
I do.
That are like a little older.
One of my favorite animes is Berserk, and I don't think Berserk would work. I don't think but no, wait, in the Golden Egg arc, they are teens up until like halfway through the series.
Here's what I prefer.
I prefer an adult characters, and then I want them to make a separate version, all chibi characters. That's it.
Yeah,
that's what I prefer.
I think I did that show.
Yeah.
What is this, Teen Titans?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Exactly. The show that never ends. Good for them.
Do you have any last questions? Yes.
You have one for Robbie. Speaking of chibi characters, I saw you did work a little bit in Naruto Shippuden, and then you went over to Rock Lee's Ninja Pals.
Yes.
So I was wanting to ask, how was that transition from you're playing like a pretty serious role in Shippuden, then going to just 100% parody?
Yeah. Well, it was all in the same like month too.
Really?
And I also did Tonari on Naruto the Last. He was the main bad guy in that movie.
Really?
Yeah, and that was a pretty dark, scary character. Yeah, it's a good movie. I
watched it in dub.
Oh yeah.
Legally.
Yeah. You watched it completely legally, and you paid premium price for it. Let me correct your answer for you. Every day in the studio for us is different, and Max and I are both very fortunate as we get to work almost every day. And when you go in for a different session, it's a total reset button. I think. I mean, you don't go in holding on to something that you did. Sometimes we'll go in. Typical LA session is 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then 2 p.m. to 6, and that's usually the 4-hour block that you're booked in. Sometimes anime is a little shorter, 2 hours maybe. If I were going into like to do the last movie as this, kidnapping, ultra dark, semi-effeminate psychopath, and if I were still holding on from, a Tom and Jerry session that I had done earlier in the morning, things would get really weird. So the hard part about Rock Lee's Ninja Pals was I did Daira and Itachi. So, and they're both super serious characters, but Itachi, all of his stuff, it's Crispin Freeman, which is way below my range, but it's way down here. But he had like jokes, he told jokes. So I was like, how do I play this character? Thankfully it was one of the same directors from Naruto, the main series.
Yeah.
So that made it a little bit easier. But I would say it's not too hard. You don't hold on to that stuff. You let it go, you go have lunch, you forget about what you just did, and you come back. Because you could be playing an old man murderer, and then you could be a duck after that. Yeah.
You never know when you'll be playing a duck.
Did you guys have fun?
Yeah.
Were you guys happy that Max crashed?
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys, One Punch Man is on tonight. I know you're going to be partying. I know you're going to be hanging out. Set your DVRs. It's episode 2, the introduction of Genos. And I get murdered in it. So, I know that's the theme of the show today. But yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, everybody. Now I shall play us off. Yeah.